Welcome to the Secret Diaries, the first in what is hopefully a daily vlog. Maybe it's going to be 5 days a week, who knows, we'll see how we get on. But basically I just wanted to give you a bit of an insight into what my life is like as someone who is trying to become a full-time content creator. First things first though, coffee. I've got a coffee, I should say tea actually, mainly because I recorded the intro of this at about 8:39 this morning and it is now 4:15. And the reason for that is because I've spent the day editing, which is how I spend most of my days. So I stream for about 9 hours a week. Monday, Wednesday and Friday I'm streaming, usually about 3 hours at a time, which is great. I really enjoy the live element of it and the live streaming, but it leaves me with this 9 hours worth of footage that I've got to go through and edit and make into workable short form content for platforms like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts. This video itself will be a YouTube only video, and the idea is that I wanted to kind of document my process of attempting to become a full-time content creator. I'm not really keen on the word content creator, to be honest with you, although it's probably most fitting for what I'm looking to do. Essentially, a year or so ago, and there's a video on my TikTok if you go back and look, a year ago or so, I kind of discovered that my job, my full-time job, wasn't really fulfilling me in any significant way. I'd kind of achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. I had very good money, nice car, nice house, all of those things, perfect. And everything after this will seem like a real kind of privileged complaint, and it absolutely is, because I had all of those things, but I realised they weren't necessarily making me happy. I was happy in my home life, and I was happy in the way I lived my life and the things that I had, but I wasn't fulfilled personally. Now, I've always been quite a creative person, and I was really lacking that in my full-time job. So it didn't matter how much more money I earned. You know, over my career, I've had lots and lots of pay rises over the years, and it didn't matter how much more money I earned. It wasn't making me any happier. It certainly made me more comfortable and made me more able to buy nice things, cameras, microphones, computers, all of the things that I need to be able to do this. But it wasn't fulfilling me. And I realised that all the times that I was happiest, I was basically entertaining people, which is quite weird because a lot of the time I feel quite anxious about going out and meeting with people. Once I'm up there, I'm absolutely fine. It's even more weird because I used to do stand-up comedy. When I was in my early 20s, I did a lot of stand-up. I spent about a year doing open mic nights and kind of 5-10 minute slots around different areas of the country, mostly in London. And there's no real better feeling than standing on stage and making people laugh, and there's no worse feeling than standing up on stage and not making people laugh when you're trying to. So that kind of anxiety of going out is probably something that's developed new. Usually when I'm fine once I'm out, but I have this real trepidation with actually going, yeah, I'm going to go out and do this thing, even when it's with people that I really enjoy doing it with. So I suppose my point is that I realised that it wasn't fulfilling. I'd started playing video games. I knew a few people who had kind of started streaming on and off. So I thought I'd give it a go and realised how much I enjoyed it. And then alongside that streaming, there's all this content creation stuff. So editing videos, coming up with concepts, and putting that out into the world really fulfilled that creative itch that I hadn't been scratching for a long time. I've basically just been doing my job and not doing anything really creative, and that was fucking with my head basically. There's not really any other way to put it. So anyway, here I am now. I spend most of my days editing that kind of 9 hours worth of content down, as well as attempting to try and produce longer form content for platforms like YouTube. and also coming up with concepts that aren't just gameplay and live stream footage, which is in some ways the easiest stuff to get because I'm doing it in real time and I just have to go back and edit it. So that's been my day today. I'm not at work today. I've got a couple of weeks off, which is great. And I'm basically trying to use that time to get into the headspace of producing as much content as I can, so I'm ahead of the curve. And this is the first of what will hopefully be many vlogs where I'm just talking about what my journey is. Journey sounds so wanky, doesn't it? I suppose what I'm talking about is like, what is the process of me going from working a full-time job that earns me a good wage to moving into content creation and having that cover my expenses. Now, the first part of the plan for that is to save up money, to give myself a bit of breathing space so I could take a year off and not really have to worry about bills and making money for the year. I didn't get into the content creation stuff because I wanted to make money off it. I think that would be the wrong reason to get into it. I got into it because, like I said, it fulfilled me creatively. It felt like it was something that I could enjoy and maybe add something different to. So I'm looking to try and save enough money to be able to take a year off and do this full time and really dedicate myself to it and see if it can get to the point where it can actually pay me a living wage. Now, if you look out there's plenty of YouTubers, TikTok people, content creators, whatever you want to call them, who are making a living off this. So it is obviously possible. But I don't by any means think that road is going to be easy. What I have realised though is all of these skills that I've developed over the last 15 years of working, all of them seem quite disparate. So my main focus for most of my career has been marketing, but within that I've done bits of video creation, I've done bits of editing, I've done bits of podcast recording, I've done bits of design work, I've developed websites, I've done all these different things. Before that, just outside of work, I did stand-up comedy, I've done public speaking, I've done all of these things, and they all seem quite disparate. And this thing that I'm trying to do, this content creation thing, brings all of those things together. So suddenly I'm in this position where all of these kind of half-baked skills that I've picked up over the years, they are all required to be able to do this successfully. I think that's one of the things that I didn't realise is just how much, how multi-skilled you have to be able to do this as a job. So my day on any day could be editing a video, could be recording audio for something, could be coming up with creative concepts, it could be designing thumbnails, it could be building and updating my website. There's so many different things that go into that, and if you don't have those skills, the barrier to entry must just be so much higher. So I'm really, really lucky to have. It feels more than kind of coincidental that I've built all of those things over time, and now suddenly I'm in this position where I'm potentially getting to do this thing that honestly I really love it. I really love the interaction with the community that I'm building. I really love the live stuff. I really love the editing. I feel like I'm actually achieving something. So far, one of the big questions that I get asked is like, how much money do I make off TikTok? How much money do I make off the content stuff? And it's very, very little. I would say it's insignificant in terms of being able to cover any bills. You're talking less than £100 a month. Any money at this stage, I think, is all gravy. I'm basically reinvesting that in just promoting my channels across TikTok and YouTube. So it's all getting reinvested, and will get reinvested up until the point that I need to use that money in order to live. So it's negligible amounts of money at the moment, and this whole thing is basically funded off of my salary. Now the other big thing is, because I work full time, how do I find the time to be able to stream and produce all of this stuff? Firstly, Mrs. Charm is an absolute gem. I say she allows me. We had a conversation, and she saw that I was in a bit of a rut with some of this work stuff, and she said to me, I've started doing some streaming, and I realised that if I wanted to make it anything significant in terms of success, I would need to dedicate a significant amount of time to it. So we had a conversation. We tried to figure out what would work for us. When I knew I wanted to stream, I knew it had to be consistent. I knew it had to be a certain amount of days a week at the same time in order to gain an audience. So we sat down and had a conversation, and we've just figured out how it would work for both of us. Just to be clear, I basically stream straight after work on Monday, Wednesday and Friday up until about 7:30, and I end it so I still get time to say goodbye, good night to Baby Charm. I go and cook dinner, and we sit and eat together every night. We usually have lunch together every day, and any spare moment that I get outside of that, for example, now Mrs. Charm's at work and won't get back till about 6, so I use this kind of time for recording videos, for doing bits and bobs, for editing, all of that kind of stuff. So I basically just got to find the time in the spaces that I've got available to me. I've still got a job to do, I've still got work I need to do, and I still have to dedicate a certain amount of hours to doing that. It's unavoidable at this point. But there will come a point, and I've thought about how this is going to happen, and the video that I want to do for the day that I kind of dedicate myself full time to this, there will come a point where I will have to make this work, or I will have to go back and get another job. And that's pretty scary. I'll have enough money put away to last me for the period of time that I plan, but the ideal situation is by the end of that period, I've made more money from this that I'll be able to live off for the next 6 or 12 months, and just continuously just make it to that next month, and hopefully put myself in a very comfortable position. Again, very, very lucky to be in a position where Mrs. Charm is very supportive of that, because she knows how happy it makes me to do this kind of stuff. So my focus at the moment is just to be producing content consistently and putting that out consistently, posting at least 3 or 4 times a day on TikTok. Hopefully a mix of kind of gameplay, stream stuff, and more original content from me. And the other side of it is, and this is where I really need to get better, is producing long form content for YouTube that isn't just stream stuff. That takes a little bit more time, a little bit more thinking. It's not as simple as just putting the camera up and or editing down some gameplay footage. I have to think about what the concept of the video is. I have to edit things together. We're getting there with that. It's all of these things feel like muscles that you need to exercise and stretch, and the more you do that, the better you get at it. I was having a conversation with a guy I used to work with, an old friend of mine. I always kind of really doubt my editing skills, and he looked at one of my videos and he was really complimentary of my editing, and it gave me a real boost to go, actually, this long form content, maybe I can do it. I just need to trust in myself a little bit more. So that's where we are right now. It feels like we're very early in the process. Feels like I'm very early in the process. The other thing is I'm learning new stuff every single day. When I was editing today, I realised that I could speed up the process massively. If I'm editing a stream, often when you're editing a stream, like the actual process is quite repetitive. The way I do it is I go through and watch the stream and pick out the bits I want to edit out and put the timestamps in place, and then I go through and chop all of that stuff up, and then I need to make sure the face cam is in the right place and that the canvas fills the screen and the background is blurred and all those things. And I realised today that I can basically create presets for all of those things. So instead of going in and editing each individual one, I can just get the stuff in the right place and drag effects in to do all of that work for me, and it's just saved me so much time. And I'm basically a year in. Another 6 months before that, I realised that the way I was masking out my face cam, so I've got the face cam in the right place, I was doing it in the longest possible way, and I figured out a much quicker way to do it. So, you know, a lot of this is a learning process, and it should get quicker and better every time. So what I'm going to try and do, this is a bit rambly, but what I'm going to try and do is daily almost do like a diary for you guys, where I'm just talking about what it is that's going on that day, and things that I'm thinking about, and ideas that I'm thinking about, and the process that I'm going through. I'm happy to do things like going into showing you guys what I earn from TikTok, and you know, what I earn from YouTube when I can eventually monetize the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, by the way, if you haven't already. That's what I need to get the monetization. But there's lots of exciting things to come. I've got lots of ideas for videos, and we'll talk through a little bit of the ideas that I've got and things that I want to do. But I'm really excited to go through this process. I think I've been doing this for about a year now, but not that long in any kind of serious way. So that's what I'm going to do. In a couple of years' time, maybe a year's time, we'll see what that date is where I can commit to this full time. But the aim is right now just to put out really great content, build a community of people, and go from there. So I appreciate you watching. This is a new series, like I said, and we should get another one each day, hopefully, and you'll see a little bit of an insight into what I'm up to. And hopefully they won't all be from this cabin at the end of my garden. This is where I stream from, but hopefully we'll get out and about. If I can get the confidence to walk about with a camera, we should be able to get some stuff out and about. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you guys on the next one, and thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.